checked out. Okay. So, let me just tell you, I feel like I'm like back to my normal self.
Really? So wait,
Seriously.
did you have chemo this week?
Okay, so check this out. I had chemo last week. This is my off week.
Okay.
So I went to the doctor yesterday. The thing is, first of all, if you have somebody in your life who has had chemotherapy, that person deserves a medal. This is, when they say the war on cancer and you're in a war, it is. That thing is the most debilitating, barbaric, ridiculous treatment in the world. Now, my tumors have shrunk. I can feel them. It's working. The level of hopelessness, the level of despair, the level of depression, if you are not mentally and emotionally strong and you don't have a support system, I do not know how people do this. I mean, I'm emotionally and mentally affected, obviously, because of my relationship. But I have a very strong support system, beginning with you guys, my friends, my family. I mean, when I tell you that you get suicidal thoughts, you get despair that you just want to die, like, I am not a person who wants to die. And I was already writing my will. I already called my kids to come. I was going to tell them what to do when I passed away. Like, I was throwing in the towel last week. So yesterday I went to my doctor, and I sat with him. And I said, the good news is that it's working. The bad news is that I'm quitting chemo. And of course, he's like, what do you mean? And I said, I need a break. So I was listening to the radio the other day on public radio, and I heard this program called Patient Advocate. University of Miami has this program now. I don't know if it's a certificate, if it's a degree, I don't know. But it's a patient advocate program. And that really resonated with me. And like, we need people that advocate for the patient. Because you can't always advocate for yourself, either out of fear, because there's this hierarchy thing, like if the doctors and the nurses know more than you, and you don't always know. But I am like, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, and I'm not a weak person, but this thing was killing me. So I went yesterday and I said, I'm not going to do chemo. I said, I want to do my surgery. I need a break. I am not mentally and emotionally in a place that I can deal with chemo. I need a break. I need time to grieve everything that's happened to me these last 9 months. Well, he brings in the surgeon, and the both of them were very supportive. They were like, we support you, we understand what you're saying. And I told my doctor, I said, if after my surgery, the pathology says chemo needs to continue, then I'll do it. But I need a break. And let me tell you that I felt heard and validated. I felt like I supported myself and fought for myself. I advocated for my own self, and that I was heard. So I'm getting surgery, check this out, on Halloween.
Oh.
Like, talk about being a witch bitch. Yeah. And so I'm going to be out for, I'm going to be out for those 2 weeks. So from the 31st probably till about the 14th, and then Ms. Rapace will be here. If I'm in bed and I can talk and everything like that, then we can Skype. So I'm going to go a week from Friday to talk to the surgeon to see what recovery and all that looks like, and then I'll let you guys know. So really I should just be out the 2 weeks. And I just feel like I got my life back. Yesterday felt like such a boomerang, such a turnaround. So this morning I started working, I started seeing clients again, and I was good, and I feel like I'm back to Frances. Like, I feel like I'm back to myself. And I have this voice, and I can advocate for myself, and I can, do what I'm supposed to be doing here. So I feel very happy.
You guys have this packet, right? I brought extra crap.
I don't know if they got that one, that's why I made copies.
Okay.
So if you do have that one, okay, so I'm so excited. Now,
Could
some
I
of you
borrow
did
one?
not give me.
I have it, but I left it at home.
I brought everything.
Oh, okay. Did you get yours?
Yes.
Okay. Not everyone gave me their exact time. If you didn't give me your exact time, you're gonna see it's gonna say 12 p.m. Okay?
I was gonna text you. Mine was 1:22 in the afternoon.
Okay, perfect. So text me so I can redo it today. You'll get yours in the meantime. And Rebecca.
What is these?
And Adriana.
Oh, okay.
Deidre, is gonna help.
Okay. So we have a short class today because of the play, which I'm extremely excited about.
Well, it's not that far off then, because I was born
No,
at 1:22 p.m.
Okay, but we
so-
still, if you have the
Yeah.
time, it's best.
Okay.
So
You
let
slept
me
till
just see.
1:20? My gosh, must be nice.
No.
Oh, PM,
it was
okay.
When I was born.
Okay, so it's not gonna
Oh.
change that much.
Oh, okay.
And so keep this. If you didn't give me your exact time and you know it like Paola, then I'll rerun it. Just send me a message so that I can print it here, because I don't have a color printer at the house. And then we'll relaminate it. And if you don't know the time, and I'll show you this when we start doing astrology, I don't know if we're gonna start this today. I wanna finish the model. But I was excited, I wanted to get that to you guys. So we're gonna continue with the truth is in the triangle and relationships. Did Ms. Rapaci tell you to write down
Yeah, I would do.
your last 3 relationships? How you met and your first fight? Okay, so, first of all, I wanna talk to you about why it's called the truth is in the triangle. When I understood this, it's similar to what we used you that day. Okay, I was kind of having these concepts in my mind, and that's where I went to sort of guide questions about your triangulation with your relationships. It obviously comes from your parents, but now you're manifesting it. And it's on point, because there's something strongly Gemini in your chart. I think it was Venus. Venus and Gemini. This is very, very much about triangulation and relationships. So when I saw it, I was printing it yesterday, I got so excited. I was like, okay, so we start seeing how we're exactly who we're supposed to be. That's the beauty of astrology. What I always say about astrology is, when I start a chart, I tell people, this is you on a piece of paper. This is you. My ex-husband used to joke with me, and he said instead of seeing faces, that I would see the person's chart. Not so far from the truth. So that's you on a piece of paper. And what I found about astrology that helped me, this is exactly who I'm supposed to be. There's something very validating in that. And that's what I love about it so much. So whether we use it in a Jungian term, or we use it in an archetype term, or we use it in a Myers-Briggs term, all of it is the same thing, and it all boils down to archetypes, and it all boils down to psychological organs, it all boils down to myth, it all boils down to story, and it all boils down to astrology. People don't like the word astrology, just tell them archetypes. Who cares? The other day, some guy posted on LinkedIn, he took a picture of someone at, I think it was Washington Square in New York, and the guy had a poster, and it said, the Myers-Briggs, I think it was the Myers-Briggs, is astrology for people with LinkedIn profiles. Prove me wrong. And I liked it. And someone said to me, why would you like it? It's like they're knocking the astrology. And I said, because I don't need to be attached to the word astrology. Myers-Briggs is archetypes. Archetypes is Jungian. It's all the same thing. I don't need to get caught up in words. It's silly. That would be like, oh, you're offending our astrology? Great, especially if you're someone who's extremely religious. You don't want to hear astrology. So archetypes might resonate more because there's more science, so to speak, or it's more of a psychology that's evidence-based. We don't want to get caught up in that stuff. But anyway, I thought that was cool, Rebecca. So why is it called The Truth is in the Triangle? The first thing is, and I mentioned this on Tuesday, we all come from a triangle. This is extremely important that we understand this. The child, which is you, had an alliance to the mother or the father. It was a wrong alliance. Nobody had the right alliance. So if we understand that all we had was a wrong alliance with one parent, we have to understand that someone was left out. The piece that is left out must be integrated. This is where I get the eye of the Band-Aid. right? What is it? Awareness, integration, and then you could do it different. And every single one of us has one parent, good morning, that has not been integrated into our psyche. That's your bad bucket, that's your shadow. So we know this, right? I just repeat the same thing over and over again. In relationships, guess who you are involved with? Who is your partner?
The person
Say it.
the person who's outcasted.
The parent that has not been integrated, the outcast parent. Absolutely. You are in a relationship with the parent that was not integrated mainly. That is why you butt heads. That is why there's problems. The only difference is, hopefully you didn't sleep with your parents. I know that some people, because of life, unfortunately did. But the only difference is that your romantic relationship involves intimacy, and that fucks everything up. It clouds everything. But if you stripped away the intimacy, and you really put that person on paper, you would say, oh, this is my mother or my father. And 99% of the time, I don't say 100, but 99% of the time, it is going to be the parent that is not integrated. How do you think the parent shows up? Unintegrated parent equals your relationship. Spouse, boyfriend, whatever. How does the unintegrated parent show up?
Obviously without the sexual part.
Okay, without the sexual part. Yes, hi, good morning. I'll need your information so I can run your chart.
You start any little thing that you start noticing about that person, you're like, fuck, that's my mom or that's my dad,
You become aware.
Yeah.
That's the awareness.
Yeah.
You guys already know every person, place, thing, or situation is your mother or your father.
Yeah.
So this person is going to show up as every person, place, thing, or situation. But it's also going to show up in every fight. It's going to show up in every vice. It's going to show up in everything that makes you feel
Like shit.
not the priority, like shit. So what are some things that take your spouses or your boyfriends or your girlfriends' energy away from you and the relationship?
Where to begin?
Start spewing those off. They're friends, right?
Yeah, they're friends.
If they're with their friends all the time, they like to play with their car, if they like to be at the club,
If they
other men or women,
If they like to smoke pot.
if they like to smoke pot or other drugs, if they like to drink, if they like to watch TV.
Yeah, anything that they pick except
Instead
for
of you!
Yeah.
Yes, that's the answer. That is exactly the answer.
But because how you
Anything-
said, we don't get our needs fulfilled.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anything.
We're fulfilling theirs, but we're not.
We think we're fulfilling theirs,
yeah.
but they're having the same reactions.
Yeah.
Because there's also places where you would rather be or things that you're focusing on. Anything but you that takes away your partner's attention is the parent that you did not integrate. That thing, TV, infidelity, Monday Night Football, a car, their attraction to their video games, goes here. I want you to draw a triangle. And I want, who's not in a relationship right now? You have been?
Yes.
And you have been? You have never been in somewhat of a relationship? Okay, it doesn't matter. Friendship?
Yes.
Okay, that you have a diki-diki with, that you have an issue with?
Not at all.
But you've had friends where you fought. where it's been like, oh my God, you're such a pain in the ass, or you don't pay attention to me, or she doesn't pay attention to you, or whatever. Okay, think of that person. I want you to draw the triangle. I first want you to ask yourself, that person, whether it's your current relationship or your friend from the past or your friend now, is it your mother or your father? That answer, mom or dad, put at the tip of the triangle. So for instance, I don't have a relationship right now, but my ex was my mom. So here I'm going to put child and father. And then I want you to put what it was about this person currently or in the past that you don't like. Is it they have too many friends? Is it gambling? Is it smoking? Is it drinking? Is it infidelity? It doesn't matter. Put that at the tip of the triangle. I'm just going to put alcohol. So my outcast parent was my mother, that my ex-husband represented, and it was alcohol that was more important than me. Simple. Everybody have that.
I have it, but I can't pick one specific.
You're just picking one. You could do this all day with every single thing. You can have a million triangles. Look. Because every single triangle means what? What does the triangle represent?
The triangle.
Triangle, circle, and square. You guys should know this. What's the circle? What is that? Spirit, but wholeness. Right. And spirit in terms of mind, body, spirit. What's the triangle?
The needs. The unmet needs.
The mind. Thought. So we have mind, spirit. What's this one? Body, which is like the earth or the physical. So this is the mind. Every single triangle that you have, and you're going to have a gazillion triangles for your partner. It doesn't matter. We're just doing one example. I could have alcohol, I could have real estate, I could have friends, I could have his running schedule. I mean, there's a gazillion things I used to bitch about. So it doesn't matter. We're just picking one as an example. Okay? And that is the thought you have around that person, because basically your unmet needs comes out every time that they pick alcohol, the running, their friends, gambling, the club, another woman. Before you're going back to being a little baby. You're not meeting my needs, mommy. That's it. That's all we're doing. Except now we're in a romantic relationship, but here we are. What is this called when you have an adult and you have a child? What theory is that? Mother, father, child, adult, adult, adult. What theory is that?
The
Transactional analysis. These things you should be spitting off your tongue. If you have child, adult, 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 or child, child, this is transactional analysis. I want you to get in a habit of when you're talking to someone, listening to what dynamic you're having with that person. When I speak to you, do I speak to you as children, or do I speak to you as adults, or do I speak to you as adults and you treat me like a child? What transaction do we have in class? Adult, adult. I treat you guys like an adult. However, Paola the other day started crying. And I couldn't ignore that she was getting affected by something. So even though I was treating her like an adult, I took a moment and said, wait a minute, Frances, have some compassion for this person. And I said, are you okay, Mama? Do you want to share? In a way, not in a demeaning way, but in a way I was kind of like wanting to be the adult to nurture the child that was reacting to whatever we were talking about. That was more of an adult-child sort of transaction. If you can start thinking when people are talking to you and you're talking to people, is that person talking to me like a child? All of a sudden, if someone is talking to you like a child, what are you going to do? You might be defensive, or
Could go.
if you want a mommy, like me, Mr. Pachi,
Take it.
then you might stay in child, which might benefit you for certain things. So when she says hand sanitizer, okay, that benefits me, I allow her to be mom and I'm child. Or you immediately have a reaction, which is what I want you to do for both yourself and your clients, which is, wait a minute, this client is putting me in the role of mother. What are you going to do? You're immediately going to treat them like an adult, so you go back to adult. And if someone is treating you like a child, let's say your boss, and you're like, oh hell no, you immediately will put yourself in role of adult to re-level the playing field. That's how I want you thinking. Is this person putting me in role of child or an adult? And is it appropriate? Or do I want to be in this role? If you start thinking like that, you'll never put people on pedestals that don't belong on pedestals. You'll immediately switch your behavior because psychologically, subconsciously, we all know how to behave as children and we all know how to behave as adults. We know how to get what we need when we put on our little child. We all know how to do it because our inner child is there saying, milk it, bitch. And you put on your little baby face and you milk it and you get what you wanted. And your little kid is,
What
because we all
about,
have that.
what about like when someone doesn't agree with you and you just, just let them keep talking and you're just like, you downgrade to a child pretty much so that you don't.
That's perception.
Um,
That's perception. What makes it that you downgrade to a child? It's a great question. But what is it that behavior-wise makes you downgrade?
Cause for example, me with my mom, I just don't like the drama. So she might not agree with something and then we both start going at it. So now I've learned to just let her talk and
Perfect.
and I'm
That
just
is
like-
which transaction?
But sometimes I do get defensive because I want to prove my
Okay,
point.
and then what is that transaction? When she lets her mother talk, what is she doing? Adult.
Oh.
When you let your mother talk, you're an adult. Because you're respecting her opinion, but you're maintaining your own, and you're not jumping in to get reprimanded. Because in your case, your child likes to get reprimanded. Okay, you have to know your child, and I'm going to teach you on your chart in a simple second how the person's child shows up. It is amazing. Once you have that tool, you're going to be like, damn, that's who I am. When I learned that about myself, I was like, fuck. You think that I would make behavior change, but no, I still fuck up. But at least I recognize it, okay, awareness. When you jump in to become defensive, what transaction is it? Adult child. You give her all the power, okay? In adult, both people retain their power. In either one of these, this one not so much, but in this one, someone gives their power away. And what do we call that when we give our power away? What have I told you? When you give your power away or you take someone's power, what is that called? Selfish. Thank you. Thank goodness. I need to have someone, one of you, I just need one, to know that I'm not losing it.
No, I get it, trust me.
Okay? So I want you to start thinking in terms. This is super important as a therapist because there are going to be times that you need to give your client a child transaction because that person needs to be coddled. That person needs to be validated like I was yesterday. Even though I went in as an adult and I said, look, doctors, this is not working for me. When I asked for permission, I already went in there knowing what I was gonna get. I went in with my own patient advocacy and said, this is what I'm doing. But the child in me wanted permission. Remember that. The child always, always, always wants permission. So when Paula gets defensive, what she's doing is asking for permission. And your inner child, each of your inner child, which is in your chart, has a certain way of asking for permission. Mine is to have a tantrum. It used to be to get angry, but it's to be impulsive. Whenever I am acting impulsive, I am in full child and I want permission. And I know this and I still screw up. I still make impulsive decisions. Yesterday my daughter's like, Mom, I think you're a little impulsive. You think?
But I have a question with the whole permission.
Okay.
What about when you're scared to ask for that permission? Like for example, with me and my mom, because she's stupid, she doesn't want me like going out because I have my son and I have to be full responsible for him. So I was scared to ask her if next Thursday she could watch him for like a couple hours at night. Because I'm going to go watch the Giants versus Eagles. I'm a Giants fan. So I was scared. I had plan A, B, and C to back me up in case she told me no.
What transaction is that?
The child?
The child adult.
Adult.
She has the power.
Yeah.
Why would your mother have the power?
Because she knows me. Like, she knows that any little thing that comes out of my mouth, she knows immediately that she can fuse up the conversation. Like,
But in this particular case, Paula needs her mother to watch her kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you gave her the power. Why?
Because because it's her mother that decides. If she says no, Paula can go watch the game.
Absolutely. So what was your plan B and C?
Well, I have a family for my son in case something happens to me.
Right.
So I called her up and I'm like, listen, don't tell my mom, but I want to go out. Do you mind keeping Jay for like a couple hours, or can he just stay with you overnight?
What transaction was that?
Adult.
Adult. The minute that you ask your mom to watch the child and she can own your ass, you're in permission-seeking mode and she owns you. What you did, smart, was found an alternative.
Yeah.
So you were asking for her to watch your child. You weren't asking for permission. Because the moment that you went and found a second alternative, an adult with this family, you gave your power, you took your power back. You stopped giving it to your mom. Your mom has a right to say no.
Oh, yeah.
People, you have, write this down, this is a Francisism. You have a right to ask, and the other person has a right to say no.
But it's so bad. I asked the lady first before
That's
asking
smart.
my
I don't
mom
think that's bad. I
because-
think that's a judgment that you're doing something wrong.
Because again, I've been through
'Cause
so
you're
much,
conditioned.
and my mom has always said no, and everything is bad in her eyes. So of course I'm gonna
So,
think-
what is it gonna take for you to stop asking your mom and just go directly to the woman?
until I become independent and show her that I can fend for myself.
Show her is what transaction?
A child, adult.
Why do you have to even ask your mom? If my mom is not gonna watch my kid, and I know that, or she's gonna say yes, but give me a guilt trip, or she's gonna say yes and throw it in my face, or she's gonna say yes and I'm gonna leave with just feeling like shit about myself and stressed out, oh my God, what's going on, or calling 500 times. My mom has the power. Why would I keep asking her? Especially if I have an alternative. She has no alternative, she's screwed. But she obviously has an alternative, which is this other woman. What is it gonna take for your child to stop asking for permission? What is it gonna take for your child to stop getting her needs met by getting beat up, by getting bitched out, and just go directly to the other woman that's gonna say yes?
Wait,
Think about that. What is it gonna take, and this is your own internal evaluation, for you to stop going to your mom first and just going directly to the other lady?